Hi, my name's Jadwiga Leigh and I'm a senior lecturer here at Edge Hill University. I completed my PhD last year and it focused on professional identity in child protection social work. I wanted to explore how social workers may construct their identity, and so I used the method of comparative ethnography. I used an agency here in England and one in Flanders in northern Belgium. What I found here in England was that social workers were embedded in a culture of blame, which was perpetuated by the way the government responded to child abuse tragedies. When one occurred, it was only natural that people wanted to find out what happened. But what happens is that people look for who's responsible, who's culpable, who can take the blame for the decisions that were made in that instance. And then what I noticed this does is it triggers the way the media respond, and a witch hunt begins. And this makes the public very angry. Understandably, everyone wants to know what's gone on, but it doesn't help those working on the front line. And although this blame goes on outside the agency, what it does is it permeates the statutory agency on the inside. So you have social workers being worried about those decisions that they're making. And a risk-averse form of practice emerges and a defensive culture. This isn't healthy, and it doesn't help families and children either. What's different about Flanders is that when a referral's received, they allocate it to a group of professionals, so you don't just have one social worker working a case. Within their agency, there's a number of different professionals, so you'll have a psychologist, a pedagogue, psychiatrist, paediatrician, counsellor, family therapist, and they all work with the family as a unit. So the child's the centre of that unit, and they recognise that the child needs that holistic perspective in order to thrive. With working with the family in that way, they're very aware of not stigmatising families. So they like to blend into the area in which they're based. Here in England, what you'll have is a statutory agency with a big sign outside saying Child Protection Agency this way. And families coming to receive a service will be identified by neighbours and passerbys as possibly being child abusers. Whereas in Flanders, the agency I visited situated themselves above a school. So then you couldn't tell the difference between parents who were dropping their children off at school and those who were going to see the agency. What they also did was create some symbolic gestures that would be reassuring for the parents. And when they moved from paper files to computer files, they condensed all their files into small wooden boxes, which they lined up down the corridor. And when families come for the first time, they show them these boxes and the files inside and point out, you know, you're not the first family to be here. You're not the first family to receive support from us. We've supported families before you, and we will continue to do our best by you and your child. So what this does is it starts relationships off on a good foot, and they start to build relationships from this point. And this way of working creates a sense of confidence. So professionals feel confident and proud of the work they do. And as a result, families feel secure in working with these professionals. And of course, things do go wrong. And when they do go wrong, the agency doesn't hide and become defensive. It talks to the media. It explains why those decisions were made. It accepts that it's far from perfect and that they need to learn, but they can only do that in partnership with society, the government and the media. So as a result, they've got a better relationship with the media. They also hold annual conferences, and they ask the true experts of abuse to speak at those conferences. And those people are the parents that have abused their children and who have resolved those issues. Because what the agency recognises is that parents who have gone through difficult times as children aren't going to be able to parent well, and that needs to be rectified if a solution's to be met. And they also produce annual reports which are available for the public, and the public can access them via their website. So it's a completely different way of working. It's innovative, it's creative, and it's inspiring. And I think what I would really like to see at the end of this research is for an interpretation of that model to be implemented here. I think that it could be effective, and I think that if there were an agency that was brave enough to take that step to think about how we could change the way we're working, the way we're thinking, you know, we could give it a go. I know one thing's for sure, and that's if we don't try, we won't ever know. So if anyone is interested in talking to me more about this approach, this idea, please contact me at Edge Hill. Thank you for listening.